This is One on One. We're here with New Jersey Assembly Speaker Vincent Prieto at the Public Policy Forum of the Business and Industry Association here in New Jersey. Mr. Speaker, the top business issues facing the state are?
Well, as always, we want to make sure our economy gets better, making New Jersey affordable for businesses to come here and be able to stay here and create those jobs. So those are key components of the outlook for this next year. And as I hear, everybody thinks it's going to be a better year, and we really hope so. We need revenues to be able to do all those good things, to be able to give incentives to businesses.
Let's talk about bringing in revenue. We'll talk about the Transportation Trust Fund in a second. But one of the issues I know is going to come up in the policy forum that I'll be moderating with you and your legislative leader colleagues is the issue of how some say it's very expensive to die in the state of New Jersey, the two taxes in the state, the inheritance and the estate tax. You said last year at this forum when I asked you about it, some said, New Jersey's is the only state in the nation with both taxes. Right. Some of your Republican colleagues said, let's do away with one or both of them. You said, yeah, if we did that, we'd lose the revenue, can't afford it. Have you changed your opinion about that in the last year?
Well, if you go back to last year, and I know we can look at sort of interviews, what I had said is we couldn't do away with it one full swoop, because it's about $440 million for each one of them.
Explain it to people. We lose that revenue?
That revenue, that's approximately how much comes in every year. So the estate tax, let's take that one, because that's one of the ones that I've been talking about that we should be getting rid of. The federal level, it's about $5.4 million. The state of New Jersey, $675.
Explain it to people. So if you die in the state, break it down.
Yeah.
I know it's a depressing conversation, but break it down.
It is. If you die in the state of New Jersey and your estate is greater than $675,000, there's a tax associated with it. And actually, in New Jersey, there's a cliff. You actually go to $1. So if you were $674, you pay nothing. $675, you pay from $1. So it's not in excess of $675. We need to bring that up. We need to then phase it out. And what I have proposed, and it was sort of coupling it in with, the Transportation Trust Fund, that we go phasing it out over maybe a 3-year period, so that way, or maybe a 4-year period, because the federal level's $5.4 million. If we can get there, that will be better. If we could phase it out completely, which I would be open to do that, but we would need to do it in a little bit so the economy catches up and we can plug that $440 million hole. So that's what I've been saying all along. It's how do you compromise and how do you get rid of it and give these individuals that comfort level that in New Jersey, you can leave your state and it won't be taxed to death.
Real quick before I let this go, what would you say to your Republican colleague, John Bramnick, and others who say, we're losing too many millionaires from the state of New Jersey who decide as they get closer to the end of their life, they do not want to leave that much money to the government. They want to leave it to their families. They go to Florida. We lose them, which means we lose the revenue anyway, you say?
Yeah, we have to work on that, and that's why I've been open to do it, and everybody has, and this is not something that I want to say that it was my idea. I was always open to doing this because this is something that was brought to our attention, and listen, from both sides of the aisle, because $675,000, as you know, in the state of New Jersey, that's not a very high number. So it affects a lot of people in the state of New Jersey. We need to do a better job with that, and we need to work on it, on getting rid of it. And I think we probably could do that as part of the negotiations for our Transportation Trust Fund.
Let's talk about that. Transportation Trust Fund is a fund that was set up in the mid-1980s in the state of New Jersey to pay for long-term transportation projects, roads, bridges, to protect the citizens of the state of New Jersey, to protect our quality of life. Roads and bridges are crumbling. They are in disrepair. That fund is about to go under. And the question becomes, where is that stable source of funding? You have said we need a gas tax. Gas prices are low as we speak going into 2016. What are the odds that we increase the gas tax? And that is where that revenue comes from to fund this fund to pay for the roads and bridges.
I'm sort of smiling in my head because you and I did an interview when I first became speaker. And
Same subject?
Same subject than you asked, and it was January 21st of 14. And the reason I remember the governor was getting sworn in that day, and you asked me about a gas tax, and I said that I was for it, and everybody thought I was crazy when I did that interview. That has become the low-hanging fruit.
You mean crazy for doing it with me, or just crazy for saying what you said?
Just crazy for saying what I was said, but I actually knew what was coming, being the former budget chairman, that the trust fund was going to run out of money. Every cent we collect, and we have not raised a gas tax since 1988, every penny that we collect is going to pay down debt. In this fund, we had $1.8 billion that was supposed to pay go. That is money that you take out of your wallet and pay for it, not put it on a credit card. We only did $75 million in that fund of PayGo. We borrowed the rest. So we have literally borrowed every cent of this particular 5-year cycle. We can't afford to kick the can down the road anymore. No real money comes off into back from that debt until like 2028 and then 2035. So we need a sustainable source of income. I've talked with you back almost 2 years ago, January 21st of 14, that I said we need to do a gas tax. And the reason was because I knew that this was going to be a problem. Gas prices are very low now. We haven't raised a gas tax since 1988. We need to fix our roads and bridges. 36% of them are either obsolete or in structural disrepair. So we need to work on those because almost 11 million residents ride over these bridges every day. So we don't want a tragedy, but there's also a statistic out there which is interesting. $650 you spend a year in repairs to road wear and tear. Actually, I'm a recipient of that. My son got a pothole, blew out a tire, a rim had to be reconditioned. It was about $600. So people don't understand that you need to fix that. It'll be a better commute. It'll be quicker to get to places, safer ride. We need to do this because New Jersey, corridor state, is what makes New Jersey attractive for businesses to come here.
But, Mr. Speaker, quick follow-up on that. Virtually every poll I've seen, you've seen them as well, and you know where I'm going, have said that 2/3 of New Jerseyans say no. We do not want an increase in the gas tax. And you are telling people that what they don't want, they need.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that if you ask New Jersey, it's how the question's asked. You asked anybody, do you want your gas tax raised? Do you want any tax raise? Absolutely not. New Jersey's #1 in property taxes. It's the #1 place not to retire to. So we're #1 in a lot of things we don't want to be. So if you raise taxes or tell them about raising taxes, of course they're going to say no. But at the end of the day, you need to educate them why this needs to be done. Because by doing that, we're actually going to spur our economy. You're going to create jobs. And also, more than a third, almost close to 40% of it is bought from out of state. And that will still be the case.
I mean motorists who are not from New Jersey.
Not from New Jersey, because since being a corridor state, and we are some 40-something cents cheaper than our surrounding states, we're still going to be cheaper than them, so we're still going to be able to get that amount of revenue that comes from the pockets of people outside of New Jersey to invest. So it's an education process. It needs to get done. And then once you do that, hopefully that revenue will help us lower their taxes, because it's like a domino effect. It's all intertwined.
The other huge issue that you and your colleagues, we thought progress was made in 2011. I don't know if people thought it was fixed, but the pension crisis, the public employee and pension crisis, as we move into 2016, how bad is it? How much money is owed, or what is the debt, and what are the possible solutions?
Well, in 11, a lot of reforms were done. Reforms that were going to save $120 billion.
Define reform. You mean give backs from public employees?
Public employees started paying more into the pension, started paying for the health benefits, so they had more skin in the game. And that was going to be a savings of about $120 billion over 30 years. But the other caveat is that the state had to pay into it. We were going to do it in 7 years, pay 1/7 at a time. When we got to the third...
1/7 of the debt.
1/7 of the debt to be fully funded. And that's what was the deal. We came into some tough economic times. Our revenue projections, as the former budget chairman, were not met. and we came into a problem. We did not put into the pension. That 1 year, we were supposed to put $2.25 billion. We put about $671 million.
The governor says the money's not there.
And that's understandable. But how do we do this? I've been talking about potentially spreading it over maybe another 5 years to give the economy a chance to bounce back and get those revenues. But we have to put into it. Those reforms you talked about, the employees are paying another $400 million every year. So they've been putting their money year in, year out. The state of New Jersey hasn't been. So we have to find it. But again, it's all a catch. We need revenues. And that's why we need to do all these things. Transportation Trust Fund, again, key components for us to get all the revenue so we can pay what we need to invest in.
Is the President of the Senate, your colleague, your Democratic colleague, Steve Sweeney, right when he says we need a constitutional change that allows the voters in November of 2016 to go to the ballot and say, you know what, the state of New Jersey must pay their fair share, must put in what it is they're supposed to put in. Is he right about that?
Well, you're preaching to the choir on that because I think we definitely need to pay into it. I believe in that
We need to change the Constitution to do that.
That is something we're talking with our caucus. We actually had a discussion on it this past week. We're going through it to see what the pros and cons of doing that. And it's something I believe in because I think the state has to pay into it. We have an obligation. These were promises that were made to these people, but not promises. They have been
What people?
The state employees, the municipal employees, all state workers. The problem is they've been paying into it. We have not. We took pension holidays. If you go back in history, history will teach you where the problems is. Prior administration, they've been both Republican and Democratic. There's been problems. Money that was borrowed. When they stopped paying into the pension, they took a pension holiday. Was at the time, oh, everything's great. The money's coming in. The stock market, you know what? You should have been putting your money in, year out, we wouldn't be having this conversation today.
Mr. Speaker, in 2016, with so many people concerned about terrorism, protecting ourselves, what is the role of state government and how much can state government do to actually protect people from terrorism?
Well, we have to stay vigilant, and we have a very big role, especially in New Jersey. We have airports, train stations. So, as it's said out there, you see something, you report it. That is something that's very important. But we have to, work together with the federal, county, and local to make sure that we make New Jersey, a safe environment for us.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Barnabas Health, the New Jersey Education Association, the law firm of Gibbons PC, New Jersey Resources, NJM, NJ Best, International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 825, and by these public-spirited organizations, individuals, and associations committed to informing New Jersey citizens about the important issues facing the Garden State, and by Employers Association of New Jersey. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.